the Old Testament says.
Why would he do that when the New Testament says that you must follow everything in the Old Testament? It also says that you shouldn't, but in any case, I mean, that's where the New Testament contradicts itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without the Old Testament, you can't have a New Testament, or Jesus, seeing as Jesus is supposed to be the fulfillment of the Old Testament.
Yep.
So has he explained to you why he disagrees with the Old Testament?
Because he wants to accept evolution instead of creation, so he denies everything that the Old Testament says.
Okay, so he's on the fence. He's basically an agnostic, right?
Well, I mean, he believes in the New Testament, just ignores the Old Testament.
He believes that the New Testament ignores the Old Testament?
No, he believes that the New Testament is real. The Old Testament is all BS.
Then he must agree that the New Testament is also all BS.
Nope.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I would tend to agree within my heart there that your dad seems to have made up his own religion. Fragged mind, if it doesn't make sense, it's contradictory. If it's contradictory, then it does not make sense. That's how logic works. No offense. Oh, sorry. I didn't see a smiley face to explain that to me. Sorry, I need visual stimulus.
Yes, my mom is a heathen.
I'm just flabbergasted that you would hold on to these notions. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And it seems that you have no intention at all of explaining your position. I mean, you say that you believe something, and on the same token, you say that you don't believe it. I don't understand how you can comfortably sit in that kind of a position. You either pick one or don't. Actually, in this case, it's pick one. And I would agree with DPR in that the only reason that you hold on to these things is because you have a fear of no longer existing. And it boils down to that simplicity. Would that be accurate? You do agree? Okay.
Yes.
I agree that stopping existence, for me, like, I don't want to stop to exist, but ultimately, it's not about you. It's about us, the planet, right? It's about how we treat other people. It's about how we teach others to behave properly, to treat people with respect, to treat people with kindness, right? It's not about subjugation. Subjugation is a losing game. It's a zero-sum game. That was rude. Good kick, Psychitus. Anyway, the fact is that ultimately it's all about how you project the way that you behave and the way that you think onto others. Okay, and hopefully, just hopefully, you can get somebody to see things your way. That is the purpose of life. That is how we move forward, right? Through discussion, through learning, through finding
Yes.
out new things. And you agree with this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why stop your thinking process when it contradicts the Bible?
I just want to see what the Bible says and see if the thought process makes sense, and if it doesn't, then have to revisit that idea.
But you agree that the thought processes within the Bible do not jive with what is considered proper behavior. You agree with that. You've said it more than once.
Parts of it.
Dude, there's 1,400 contradictions in the Bible. I mean, if you read a book, right? Let's just pick one at random. How about oh, I don't know, this one. Let's say this book in the first chapter says Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are on their way to Hoth, and then in the next page it says they're actually on their way to Tatooine, without any kind of transition or any explanation between the two passages. Would you throw away the book? Would you stop
Yes.
reading right there and say that doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that with the Bible?
Yes.
Because the Bible does it.
Well,
in
there
the
are a
very
lot of
first
books that
fucking
don't
chapter.
make any sense.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm saying that there are a lot of books that don't make any sense.
Name one.
One
Other
time,
than
like
that.
Hovind was showing no, I mean, let me get to the point. One point, like Hovind was showing a science book that was saying that abiogenesis is impossible, and then on the next chapter it says, well, we think this is how abiogenesis happened.
Okay, I was never a big fan of Kurt Vonnegut, but and he's Canadian. But what the? Okay, just so we have some clarity here, the Torah is the Jewish Old Testament. The Quran is the Muslim Bible. Okay, the Quran is based on the Christian King James version of the Bible and the Torah combined. Oh, maybe not the King James, excuse me. But basically the Torah and the epithets from the New Testament. Since when isn't it Firelion? Yes, but it mentions Mary, it mentions Jesus. Allah Akbar. We can't repel flavor of this magnitude. Sorry. It's a trap. It's a tarp. What the hell? I'm lost here. Stay as you, or you are a traitor. I see. Now it's behead those who say that Islam is violent. I don't speak Arabic, but I would like to. So I can't read it in the original context. In fact, I believe that there's a problem with actual Arabic speakers reading the original context of the Quran anyway. In my heart, it doesn't have 14,000 mistakes. It has 1,400 contradictions, at least. That's and counting contradictions. That's not including historical errors or geographical errors.